Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to another episode of Karina Live. This is Karina Mujati, your favorite comrade sister. Once again, welcome on board as we look on the progress of what is going on about this ED must go with this ED 2030 agenda. So this afternoon, we look at some of the events which are unfolding in Zimbabwe. Yesterday, we saw Nick Mnangagwa tweeting, and some of us were not confused when later on we realized that he deleted the tweet. Those people, if some people who can still remember, in 2017, as the coup was going on, Nick Mnangagwa rushed on to BBC for an interview whereby he castigated Mnangagwa, and he said President Robert Mugabe was okay, and ED must be ignored because he was power hungry. And then later on, within 8 hours, we saw again Nick Mnangagwa on BBC News with this angry face whereby he was now conditioned to say that what you said was wrong, you need to go and say this. And Nick Mnangagwa went on to BBC and started saying that Comrade Robert Mugabe must go because he was a dictator who was destroying people's lives. Without shame, forgetting that he was defending Mugabe's position. So some of us, when we saw Nick Mnangagwa tweeting those things, which indicated that he was misinformed and he was not aware about the ongoings of our political situation. We saw him tweeting that the military tanks were on our streets of Harare and Bulawayo because they were carrying out some regular exercises. And when we condemned him, he hurriedly deleted the tweet. But nonetheless, some of us, we have known Nick Mnangagwa, we have warned the Zimbabwe ZANU-PF, some of the people we speak to, about Nick Mnangagwa's incompetence, and now you can see what we're talking about. Nick Mnangagwa and Mugwadi, they're birds of the same feathers, just like clueless Mutangwa. So let me not dwell on Nick Mnangagwa because he has already exposed himself. He has already exposed Emmerson Dambuzo's position on the current situation of our political desires in Zimbabwe. So, my dear comrades, this afternoon, I am here again. Like I said yesterday, I've been warning people for a long time, for years, about Gambakwe. That is about misinformation. We also see that Opera News, they're about misinformation. So Zimbabweans, be worried and be very careful of the sources you are following on these developments in Zimbabwe. It is good to note that they panicked last night when their electricity supply was cut off. And it was a very good move so that they can experience what every Zimbabwean is going through. And may you cut off that power supply even for the next 72 days so that they will end up throwing their meat just like any ordinary Zimbabweans. I know that they are panicking, they are all over the place. So once again, Zimbabwe, and this message is for you, George Charamba. You've been bragging, we're seeing you. Some people, you're telling them that, you are on Mukanya Chiwenga's camp. You might be on Mukanya Chiwenga's camp because you want to survive. But this is my message to you and also to you, my brother Mukanya Chiwenga. Mukanya Chiwenga, whatever, and you, Comrade Blessed Geza, and you, Comrade Knox, and all the veterans who are saying that we should say Mnangagwa must go. What I'm trying to say here is that how can we allow George Charamba in another position after what we are doing now? That will be the greatest betrayal to the people of Zimbabwe. We saw how George Charamba is a very dishonest person. We saw him from being a conniving liar, whereby he sold out his boss, Mugabe, by giving him all speech. Thank goodness Mugabe knew everything. He realized that he had read this speech before and he stopped. And that's when George Charamba passed him an original speech. And then we saw him again standing against his boss, and he switched on. He was hired by Emerson Mnangagwa. And Mkanya Chiwenga, for whatever reasons, my brother, listen to me. I'm a Mbiri for you. I've been fighting your corner all these years. I might not been there in politics as you might think, but what I know is when I say somebody is a bad apple, indeed he is a rotten bad apple, and that person is George Charamba. If George Charamba is giving you whatever information, you will say thank him for that. But for you to accommodate George Charamba in the next move of what is going to happen between today, the next 24 hours, or going forward, that would be a great betrayal to the people of Zimbabwe, even ZANU-PF supporters. People are fed up of George Charamba. George Charamba is a man of no morals. He rapes his own children. Also, the case going on in America with the niece who he abused sexually. We have seen how he abuses his women, how he has infected them without disclosing that he is HIV positive. We saw how he denigrates the Zimbabwean people. We saw how he tries to abuse ZANU-PF power. He is a thug. And Mkanya Chiwenga, if you mean well for the people of Zimbabwe, please listen to me. And please, I know I might not be anything, but listen to me. George Charamba is not a person to be continued with in the next steps we are taking as Zimbabweans. George Charamba must be relegated just to a mere ZANU-PF card-holding member. He is a cancer. And why do you think that if George Charamba joins you on the team, is going to be loyal to you when he has betrayed his two former bosses? Whereby George Charamba, that was time when you were sick and we were fighting for you, when they were reading speeches, George Charamba, Emerson Mnangagwa, Christopher Mutangwa, they'll be doing press conference to release how sick you were to the people of Zimbabwe. What makes you he has changed? Unless you are telling us that you don't have any good plans for Zimbabwe. You want, because if George Charamba is going to come with you, you'll be spying on you and they are going to topple you. So, my dear, if you really mean well for Zimbabwe and for ZANU-PF progression as a party, George Charamba is not fit for purpose for the Zimbabwe we would like to see, for the Zimbabwe we would like to build. He has had his share, and his share is full of atrocities, and it's one of atrocious reflection which no one can be proud of. So please, George Charamba, we don't want you to be in Mkanya's camp. And Mkanya, some of these people, it is high time you realize that they have saved the ZANU-PF, but they do not save the Zimbabweans' interest. Because to be a leader, you are not saving just a party. You will be saving the interests of the people. Because for one to be called a leader, it is about the people you are leading, not about the organization you are leading. So my dear brother, listen to me. I'm a fellow Mumbiri, and I've been observing this political arena, and I wish you all the best. So please, we do not want to see a George Charamba near power in a new Zimbabwe, whether in ZANU-PF or in government. Don't forget that the same George Charamba, Monica Mtangwa, Christopher Mtangwa, and Nick Mangwana, they are the very same people who were writing those speeches whereby they will be using these big words whereby you will struggle to read to humiliate you. My brother, I beg you, this George Charamba is a green grass snake, and therefore he must be relegated and be given his final paycheck. He cannot be a career politician because he's not one, but he's a danger to society and he's a danger to all the people he's around. So my dear, stay away from George Charamba. You might say, oh, this is my sister, this is Mbiri's sister. I've warned you. I've never warned the things which are not going to happen. So please stay away from George Charamba. Once I'm on that again, the people of Zimbabwe, what I would like you to understand is that tomorrow is Friday. Tonosangana kuZimbabweko. Tonosangana kuZimbabweko. A great Zimbabwe is coming. We are hoping that it is a great Zimbabwe. We are hoping that it is going to be a fruitful Zimbabwe. So, my dear people, they say, in 1999, today today is from tomorrow we'll be singing. Titore nyika tirambe takashingere gadzirirai Zimbabwe ndeyero aiwa totoitora kubva kuna Mnangagwa. Titore nyika tirambe takashingere gadzirirai Zimbabwe ndeyero totoitora kubva kuna ED. So Zimbabwe, as from today, for those who believe, they shall see. For those who don't believe, but a great Zimbabwe is coming. When the signal, I think I've given you another signal. When the signal, the real signal from Zimbabwe, I've given you the signal because I've said it might be a great, great day. So, Zimbabwe, your happiness might be titore nyika tirambe takashingere gadzirirai Zimbabwe ndeyero ai totoitora kubva kuna ED. So Zimbabwe is coming. Make sure people, you've got a dollar, you put together dollar, you need to march. You need to go onto the streets. And I would like to appeal to Comrade Border Gaze, to Comrade Blessed Gazer, Comrade Knox, and everyone behind the scenes who are planning this, to allow people to march to State House, to allow people to march to Borodale, to allow people to march to, what's the name of that place, where... Tenward. So people should be allowed to march to Tenward, to State House, to Borodo. All these are the non-residents of Emerson Mnangagwa. People should march there. They should be allowed to march to all those tags. Kudata Gwirei, Mangudga, Chinamasa, Obedi Mpofu, Mutsangwazi, Mangwanazi, Paul Mangwana, his brother Nick Mangwana, all the thugs, Guvamatangas, Butuli Nguve, everyone who's been stealing, Mushayavan, all the people who've been stealing. And I would like you people to put special operations in Gutu Central. All those households of those sons and daughters of Gutu Central who've been stealing from Zimbabwe, go and place surveillance there. They try to go get them. For the people of Zimbabwe, we need justice. All the airports around the country, all the borders, Forbes border post, Kariba, Victoria Falls, Chirundu, Nyamapanda, the Botswana one, Plumtree, Beatty Bridge, everywhere. Place plain clothes for anybody just to run. All cars must be searched with the dogs and everything. No thug must escape from Zimbabwe. So, my dear Zimbabweans, your happiness might not be even 72 hours. You must be ready to celebrate. Don't be misled by people like Gambakwe who doesn't know what they're talking about, or Pera News and other people who wants to get relevance because now it is the final end. They want to just come on top. They just want to hijack the momentum because they think that that's how things are done. No, things are not done that way. We know the people who stood with us from the beginning when we condemned Emerson Mnangagwa. So do not be fooled. Zimbabwe is coming. And be on the right side of history. Every security services personnel in Zimbabwe. We want to see Emerson Mnangagwa gone. And he must go. Out, he must go. And I hope you are busy looking for that special cow dung and mixing it, a big bucket for auxiliary, ready for him to mop that road, the road with the potholes with that ndobe. And then you must cook a big pot of manga and feed it to her so that she knows that when you've got power, you don't denigrate those who you think they are less powerful. So my dear people, a new Zimbabwe is coming. And let us be hopeful. Let's march. When the final signal has been called out, Make sure you are there. Make sure you witness it. This is about the people. We want to see Emerson Mnangagwa gone. Those ones in the opposition who are saying, don't go. Why should people not go? Because you know that you are part of the criminals who might be implicated in this. Homeward, we are going. Emerson Mnangagwa must go. And this is what I have to say to you, Zimbabwe. So, my dear Zimbabweans, thank you for tuning again. And Emerson Mnangagwa will be history. And we shall celebrate. So, Zimbabwe, thank you very much. And have a pleasant evening. Lots of love. Comrades Agomwe, Tenengam, Nyoge Mabunu, Comrade Blessed Geza, Comrade Nox Chivero, and all your other dedicated comrades, and all those ones behind the scenes. You know those ones behind the scenes, and all those ones behind the scenes as well in diaspora. Those ones, my comrades, and thank you for the briefing. And a new Zimbabwe is coming. Emerson Mnangagwa is going, and definitely a new Zimbabwe is going. So, my dear, with this very, very berry tea, a very pleasant evening in Zimbabwe. Stay positive. Emerson is going. Emerson is going. Emerson is going. Emerson, the Garwe, the repeater, the animal, the thug, the murderer is going. Emerson is going. Good night, Zimbabwe. Much love.